Question 1a, explain the origin of sin according to the biblical accounts of the fall of man. Genesis chapter 3, verse 4 to verse 6 to 9 and verse 11. So, obedience to the will of God. Disobedience, sorry, it is disobedience. When you disobey the will of God, that is the sin, that was the origin of sin. Temptation. And you were supposed to say temptation by Satan. Desire for worldly glory, but you can call it in one name, materialism. Materialism. Also, another origin of sin is human weakness. You are weak. You get drunk until you forget yourself. Human weakness. There is also another origin of sin is jealousy. Jealousy. In the biblical account, there was jealousy in the story of Cain. Yes, that was jealousy. You can call it rivalry. Lust, anger, and you get anger in the accounts of the fall of man in Cain. Lack of self-control. You have uncontrolled desires. Lack of self-control. And then also another origin of sin is pride. This you get from the Tower of Babel, the story about the Tower of Babel. And then there's free will. Very few got all the answers in this question. But you only needed 5, so that you get 10. Question 1b. Outline 5 similarities in the two accounts of creation in Genesis 1 and 2. So similarities in the two accounts of creation are they similar? You should stack all your answers in both. So in both, God is the creator. Please acknowledge the creator. God is the creator. In both, God created living and non-living things. Living and non-living things. Human beings share life in God. Humans share life in God. Also, you find in both accounts, marriage is ordained. Marriage is ordained. Is ordained by God there. It is ordained. O-R-D-A-I-N-E-D. By the way, you have a lot of spelling mistakes. My God. Some of you could not even understand what you're trying to say. So I said, in both, God is the creator. In both, He created both the living and non-living things. In both, humans share life in God. Number 4, marriage is ordained by God. And then human beings are special. Human beings are special. They're special creators. They're special. God gave man responsibility in both. God gave man responsibility. Then we also found God is self-existent. He was there even before creating everything. We were told the Spirit of God was doing what? Hovering on earth. So God is self-existent. Also, human beings are superior. They are superior. When they compare to the rest of the creation, they're superior. And then they were created both male and female. Male and female. So you needed 5 points there. Question 1c. In what ways have human beings failed to carry out responsibilities given to them by God in Genesis chapter 1 and 2? How human beings have failed in carrying out their responsibilities. Number 1, remaining unmarried. See, marriage is ordained, remaining unmarried. That is, they did not carry their responsibility when they remain unmarried. By not worshipping Him, not worshipping. Not guarding the land from erosion. When you do not guard the land from erosion, you are also failing to carry out your responsibility. Failing to conserve, you fail to conserve. And you fail to conserve the environment whereby you do not keep it clean. Is the class clean? Also by mining. Because remember, mining leads to open ground. Mining and excavation, it leads to open ground whereby you're spoiling the people cannot use that land again. Another way you fail to carry your responsibilities by taking contraceptives. When you take contraceptives, that means you cannot get what? Pregnancy. You're not procreating. You are told to procreate. So taking contraceptive, you're failing to carry out your responsibility. Not now. Not now. When you're grown up. Murder. When you carry out murder. Also you fail to carry out because you're supposed to take care of what? The fellow human being. You're supposed to respect life. Pollution. When you pollute the environment. Abortion. Through abortion. You're failing to carry out your responsibility because you're supposed to procreate. Whereby through also sexual immorality, for example, homosexuality, lesbianism. Do you know many of them? Question 2a. Give 8 reasons why God called Abraham. 8 reasons why God called Abraham to be a founder of God's creation. To be a founder of God's creation. Also to give salvation to all mankind. To give salvation to all mankind. To give salvation to all mankind. To teach people meaning of faith. To teach people meaning of faith. To teach people the meaning of faith. To teach people the meaning of faith. To separate him from idol worship. 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 To make a holy nation through him. To make a holy nation through him. Make a holy nation. To make a covenant. To make a covenant with him. Make a covenant. To give him land. He was giving land to him and his what? His descendants. So to give him land. To make him a source of blessings. to make him a source of blessings, and then to reveal himself to Abraham. To make him a source of blessing to all, to make him a source of blessing to all, and then to reveal himself to Abraham. Question 2. Describe the incident in which Abraham's faith was tested by God at Mount Moriah. Describe the incident in which Abraham's faith was tested by God at Mount Moriah. God told Abraham to sacrifice his only son at Mount Moriah. He set off for the journey, and on the third day, he saw the place at a distance. He told his servant to remain there as he continued to the place with Isaac. He made Isaac to carry firewood, and he carried the knife and the firewood for sacrifice. Isaac asked his father where the sacrificial lamp was. Abraham said, God will provide. On reaching the place, Abraham built an altar, placed the wood on it. He tied Isaac and placed him on the altar. He was ready to kill him, but the angel told him not to injure his son. Abraham looked aside and saw a ram caught in the bush by its horns. Abraham took the ram and offered it as a burnt offering to God. Then God called Abraham and gave him several promises. If you got 2 marks here, raise up your hand. 2. You're not supposed to get 2 because most of you got good marks. Where the problem was, what did you say when he wanted to kill his son, Abraham? The angel told him not to. Some of you, look at your answers. You were saying, the angel told him, look there, there's a ram. Look at your answers. Can you look at your answers? What did you say? The angel told him not to injure the son. Then Abraham saw a what? A ram. Which was what? Was caught up in the bush. Look at your answers. You're supposed to revise your paper and look at it. Question 2C, doubt their faith in God. Why do people doubt their faith in God? Influence from science and technology. When you're influenced by science and technology, you lose your faith. Remember that science and technology is about testing and evidence. You cannot have the evidence for God. You just have to see that your things are going on well. So, number 1 is influence of science and technology. Miracles are rare today. Miracles are rare today, but I don't believe they're rare. Every day they happen to me. Every day they're good. Oh my God. When their requests are not answered, when their requests are not answered, when they face many problems, you forget your faith. You face many problems. When some religious leaders, not all, when some religious leaders are poor role models. I don't want to give an example from my church because I don't want you to know. Some religious leaders are poor role models. Influence from traditional beliefs. Yes, you forget your faith. When you're telling your sister you cannot eat the head of the goat that is slaughtered because you are a woman, where is your faith? Where is your Christianity? When you're telling your sister that, you're influenced by the traditional African beliefs. When you see wicked people prosper, that is actually where people lose faith. When you see wicked people prosper, yes. But you should be able to give them time. Give them time. Everything you should always give them time.